just as an addendum, in addition to what we've been doing, projects would probably usually ask you to print the high score table or the top 5 in the high score table. I don't even think we've got 5 in our high score table. No, we've only got 4. So I'm going to print the top 3 in the high score table. So Jack 16 shouldn't appear in it as a last function. So I'm going to create a function def print high score table. What it's going to take is the data. Now the data is already sorted because we're just writing it out to a file here, so we've already done the job and data is in the correct order. So as long as we have that, we're fine. Now I've stayed away from this for quite a while, and it's called slicing. We could use slicing, or we could use a current position again and do it. So actually, let's do the current position. Let's say we're going to print the top 3 of the high score table. I'm going to set current position equals 0 for index in range 3. Because I want the 3 scores, it's going to start at 0. In fact, I don't need current position. Let me just take that out. I can just put print data index, and that will print the high score table, or the top 3 in the high score table, to the screen. I don't need that current position at all. In fact, I've only got 2 lines there. It's almost not worth thinking about doing the slicing. So that would be the final item in my program. Print high score table and pass in the data. What I could do is pretty it up a little bit by typing a print a blank line, so that there's a blank line after congratulations, you took so many attempts, and print high score table, and print a line. Or maybe I want to underline things there. HICORE TABLE. So underline it, print a blank line, and then it will print the high score. So it's just some visual stuff for you. So if I save that, and don't forget we've already done the code, so it prints out the code for us, so we can do it in one shot. Print code right there. As long as I don't miss my scores, that's fine. So running the program, Clive, I think that was one of the people in the list. Whoops. Run it again. So I know what the code is, 0632, so let's start off, let's not make him top. 1 digit correctly, 0632, so I've got it in 2 goes. There you go, I've now got the high score table, Clive at the top, Angela and then Mary, and obviously the bottom 2 Jacks are not in the high score table. So I've now got the ability to print a message and then print the high score table. The nice part about programming in functions like this is you can really think of the code in small chunks. You just deal with a small chunk at a time, like just printing the high score table, or getting the user. It's a couple of lines of code. The hardest ones are sort of when we're going along the lists doing the linear searches, which we had a linear search here as well, but we had an insertion at the end of it. They're the longest pieces of code. Everything else is just quite short, 4 or 5 lines of code. Okay, so if you can nail 4 or 5 lines of code, we're okay. Obviously there are some really strange things in here that you've probably not dealt with before, but there's plenty of information on the internet about it. There's plenty of videos teaching you about it. I don't have the time to go through the entire Python language for you, just in case something crops up. I do think I've covered everything you need to do for your project. The hardest part you're going to have is sort of doing the design and thinking in this sort of structure, and doing your diagrams and your pseudocode, and doing your testing tables, which really I haven't covered since the very first couple of videos, only because this would be a series that would take the rest of your life to complete. So that's it. That is a project. It really is a project. You'll be asked to do nothing more than what you've done here. And to be honest, the only thing that is going to change in the project is the actual game. Play Mastermind. That's going to be a different game. Pretty much everything else is going to be the same. That, that, and this might change a tiny little bit, but only there. This will probably change. This will probably change because it's part of the mastermind game. This is part of the mastermind game. This is part of the mastermind game. And this is part of the mastermind game. Pretty much everything else will stay the same.